Hey everybody, welcome to the 1804 show, chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is another episode of 1804 History. Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for the love, the support, the genuine care, and it means a lot knowing that everybody is hitting me up, just giving me my flowers and all that stuff. But yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, the 1804 Show, Chapter 2. And if you won't, hit a brother up with a donation. Cashapp, $, the 1804 Show. But yeah, tonight I'm going to be talking about a very tragic story that happened in 1998. You know, one thing, when I do these history segments, I feel like it's my responsibility to tell people stories who's no longer here to defend themselves, and it's tough when I read about these things because I'm a black man in America. So it's just really hard when you uncover certain things that's not discussed in the public schools. And I feel that it's our responsibility to pass these stories down to the next generation so they can be aware, so they can appreciate the life that they live now. And this story, man, just, it's sad. Especially when it was a innocent bystander who wasn't doing nothing but minding his own business, ended up at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that man is by the name of James Byrd Jr. He was from a small town in Texas called Jasper. And it was, well, Jasper pretty much is a small town. I forget how many miles away to the major city and everything, but it's a small town. Everybody know everybody. He was well loved. He was a good dude. Very musically inclined. He could sing. He played the piano. He was a jokester. He was a father of 3. And on the night of June 7, 1998, he was practically abducted by 3 white supremacists. And I'm sorry, man. It's hard. It's hard to really tell this story because he was a good guy. Didn't do nothing to nobody. And he was loved by his family, friends, the community. But these cowards kidnapped him and put him in the back of a pickup truck and took him to the country. And these 3 cowards wanted to make a name for themselves. They wanted to stir up some hate and some racists and stuff like that. They wanted to start a Ku Klux Klan chapter in a town, so they wanted to make a statement. They needed to make a broad statement to get everybody's attention. So They took Mr. Byrd and chained him up by his legs in the back of a pickup truck and drove 3 miles down the road. And it just lets you know just how sick people can be and just uncompassionate. He was really pleading for his life, begging them to stop. I can't take it no more. And they just laughed. They drove until parts of his body was coming off. They said that each of his limbs was coming off as soon as they reached a destination. And it's just really tough to imagine going out like that. And they said that pieces of his torso was found at the local black church down there. And this is 1998. And this was not that long ago. This was only 23 years ago. This wasn't no 40s or the 50s or the 60s. This was 1998. And I was 10 years old when this happened. And that just should frighten any and everybody who's watching this. And shit like this is still going on today. But they sweep it under the rug. You know, they cover it up. And they try to cover this one up. But they couldn't. Because it reached national attention. And this was bad. Like, this was like all over news outlets, all over the country. And the thing about it is, this shouldn't have never happened in the first place. I'm sorry, y'all. My nerves bad. You know, this is really hard, man, to tell this story because I sympathize with this man who just went out for the night of the town and just didn't expect this horrific incident to occur. And it's just one of the most gruesome lynchings of all time. And they say it's murder, but it's a lynching because it was a hate crime. And I just always tell my peoples, man, stay in the house. You don't always have to go out. Because shit like this could happen. Where you just minding your own business. You just trying to have a good time. You're trying to go out and have fun. And you can get abducted by white supremacists. And they can kill you. Don't even sit back and think about if you have a family or not. Or you have people that love you. They just wanted to kill you because the color of your skin. And it's just a painful story, man. And a local black person discovered the body the next morning. And it was a trail of blood down the road. When the police discovered the body and stuff, even before they discovered the body, they followed the trail of blood. And that's how horrific it was. he left a trail of his blood to his corpse. And the three was apprehended the next morning, and they both, well, two of them was just acting all tough, and the third guy, he practically was a follower. He had remorse, and he confessed to the crime, and all three was arrested. And during that trial, everybody from Jesse Jackson, everybody from Al Sharpton, everybody from the KKK and the Black Panthers was at the courthouse. And the most beautiful thing about that was the Black Panthers came in the aid of Mr. Byrd. And they were standing up for the black townspeople down there, and they weren't taking no mess. They weren't backing down. So the National Guard had to be called, and all three was found guilty of the murder / lynching of James Byrd Jr. Two was sentenced to death, and one of them, the guy who confessed, serving life without parole. Okay, that's pretty much what I have so far. But my thoughts on this story is that why we have to be the ones to forgive. Why we gotta be the ones to love our enemy. Why we gotta be the ones to take so much shit in this country. You know, this man had kids. And just watching the documentation of this tragic story, his son was in the military. And he said that, how can I serve a country when the country murdered my father? And his daughter, she said that she suffers to this day PTSD from the death of her father. And it's crazy because down there, they hid their racism. Like, they had to tear down a fence that separated black and white. So they tore down the fence, and they had to build like a gate around his gravesite, so people won't shoot it up, because there's a habit of racists coming to black people's graves and shooting up the tombstone and everything. But it just, when you sit back and think about shit, man, how hard it is when you're a black man, it's just atrocious, man. It's real pathetic how we was always gang up on. Like, they can't ever come at us one-on-one. They can never face us by themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's always a group. It's always a team of them when it's only one of us. in these particular situations. And I don't know, it's just really hard for me to forgive someone who killed my loved one. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. You know, and I'm not saying have hate in your heart. I don't want my words getting twisted, but I'm saying, like, you don't have to forgive all the time. Like, it's okay to hold people accountable. It's okay to be angry, but it's not okay to just give murderers a pass. And take it from somebody who knows what it's like to lose someone close to you. That's a pain, that's a feeling, and that's an emotion that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. People can say all day that, well, if you don't forgive, then God won't forgive you. But he also said, thou shalt not kill. But we always the ones that have to ask for forgiveness. We the only ones that they ask that shit to. And that's why, like, if something happened to me, I don't want anybody to forgive my killers. I don't want anybody to not even take the settlement, because we have a habit of taking civil settlements because we are afraid that we might not get justice. But in this case, he was able to get justice. And one of the dudes was the first white man to be executed in the state of Texas of last year. And this has affected everybody, black, white, Mexican, everybody. This affected the entire community. And the sheriff at the time said that his case affected him so much to the point that he needs to be on medication. And before, he wasn't on medication. But it's just unfortunate when things like that happen to innocent people. And you just feel like it could always happen to you, because it can happen to you. And we just have to be resourceful. We have to be aware of our surroundings. We have to stay strapped and protect ourselves by any means necessary. It's not always about a turn up. It's not always about a party. It's not always about, you know what I'm saying, having a social life, because he was having a social life and that was his last day on earth. Didn't get a chance to say goodbye to his mother and father. Didn't get an opportunity to say goodbye to his kids. But we just have to really be careful of who we trust, because he knew one of them. That's why he was able to get in a pickup truck, because he knew one of them. He had no idea that he was looking at his murderer. So, yeah, that's the end of the episode. And make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, hit the bell for future notifications, future episodes, and make sure you get the merch. I will have the link to it in the description box or in the comment section. And thank y'all again for tuning in to my viewers and to any and everybody who watched. But yeah, keep it locked and be safe and good night. One.